Hey everybody, we're doing a new series of videos. We're trying to feature people who are building their community through food. So we're looking for folks out in the community that are kind of using their food as their vehicle to build their community around them. And today we are going to go talk to the one and only Tommy Gomes over at Tunaville Market and Grocery. So come join us for a chat and see what we're all about. Thanks for having us down.
Yeah,
Thanks for showing us around. This is kind of a cool moment for me because I've known you for quite a while, so it's fun to
it's
sit
been a
down.
minute, right?
It's 2000. I went back and checked. It was 2009 when I met you. It was when I
No
first started
way.
cooking. I was working for Hannes
Yeah.
over at the old Kensington Grill.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been fun for me to watch your ride because when I first met you, you were working at the other place. You were just getting started, and I've always wanted to ask you the question: what made you start to build this chef community that you helped build in the fishing world, where every chef I've ever known, they all buy their fish from Tommy?
Well, you know, and that's a great question. So back in the day when we started all of this, it was all box in, box out, on a truck, delivered, no
Mm-hmm.
story, no face for the fish,
Mm-hmm.
no, and the fishermen here in San Diego, they needed some help. And so I decided it was right when social media was not social media, but group chats and all that stuff was coming out on
Mm-hmm.
certain forums and all that. And so I jumped in there, and you know, we were at Catalina Offshore, which was just a major distribution they would send out to other wholesalers. And I was like, well, wait a minute, man, we're getting all this beautiful fish here, and these guys are still ordering fish out of LA and other places.
Mm-hmm.
We need to grab this. And
I
so
remember those days.
yeah, so we did. We started going to events, and we started pumping out videos and doing all kinds of fun stuff and meeting chefs and supporting each other. And I mean, when you think back at it, it was a different era because back then we all we all helped each other out. It was a chef driven
Mm-hmm.
food community.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever somebody had an event, everybody went.
Yeah,
All
I
the
went. I
chefs,
remember going to all those events.
all the chefs went, man, and it was super cool. And you know, everybody worked with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a lot of us have aged out of that, and a lot of the chefs, they're not grinding it out anymore. They're more corporate now, and they're in the office, and so
It's hard to keep that up when
you
you're not a
can't.
young man or a young woman anymore.
You can't. I mean, I'm at Tunaville pretty much every day, and I feel it. You know,
Sure.
I literally have I literally have to leave here, go home, slam a cup of coffee, sit on the couch, take a nap, the caffeine kicks in, and then I come back.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I wanted to take it back a little bit. How did you get into the fishing industry to begin with?
Uh, well, my dad was a tuna fisherman. My brothers, my cousins, my uncles. It was a fishing family. You know, being of Portuguese descent, growing up here in Point Loma, specifically Tunaville, where all the Portuguese lived. It's what we did. My father used to walk into school and before summer and say, "Let's go, boys, get your brothers, time to go," and we'd be out of here. And we'd come back after school started, after the summer, and you come back, and it was a blessing to be able to work with a lot of the pioneers in the American tuna industry, and to see some of those guys today that come by Tunaville Market and Grocery and hang out, and we tell stories about, you remember when this happened, and I make sure that the youngsters that are working for us, hey, come here, we're going to tell this story. You guys got to hear this. This was cool.
The stories from the veterans are always the best.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the fall of the tuna industry here in San Diego was the final blow. Was about 1985 when everybody left, and it was just a few boats out of Pedro, and the rest of us, we went and fished out all over the world, and still offloading for American canneries, if you could, whether it be Ralston Purina, AJ Hines, Checkerboard Square, Bumblebee, Starkist, and now there's no more canneries here in America for the big boats, so you got to go to faraway lands.
Yeah. So you grew up fishing, and at some point in your life, the rough fishing life kind of took you on a path that maybe wasn't the healthiest of paths.
Oh yeah, man, I was a wreck. I was a wreck. I got strung out, on dope, and did some pretty stupid things, and ended up being sentenced to a decade and more, supermax penitentiaries, and so we got out of there, and there was no, how do you say it? There was no foundation. We're open. You can go in. Yes, ma'am. Go right on in there. So there's no foundation for us when we get out, because they want you to go back in because it's a revolving door. It's big money. Prison's big money.
Sure.
Um, I was homeless, eating out of trash cans, hanging out at what I call with the walnuts down in OB at the wall, the walnuts.
Walnuts, I love that.
And
I'll never look at the OB again the same.
Yeah, and an old fisherman friend of mine, Steve Giffen, he ran into me and he's like, "Bro, you need to get some help," and it was so bad. I was literally in the OB jetty in a hovel that I moved the boulders and I lined it with plastic, and I would put a gallon jug of cheap vodka in the water to keep it cold, and I had a rubber hose that came up, and I would just sit there, and I was just polluted. I was in a bad shape. And Steve got me into a rehab center. God bless the Freedom Ranch up in Campo, and I was up there. I was only supposed to be there for 120 days. But 8 months later,
wow,
I was up there. I was a counselor, and while I was, that last night when I woke up to uh, a voice that said, "You need to go down the hill and start your life." And it wasn't the first, second, or third time in my life that I heard that same voice. And so I went in the office, told him I'm going down the hill, I'm out of here, and came down the hill and was looking for work, and I saw, help wanted signs for a fish cutter, and I went, well, that's where you start again,
Yeah.
and I went and started cutting fish at Catalina Offshore, and God bless Dave Rudy and my buddy Alon for giving me a chance down there, and um, it was rough, and we saw some things that needed to be improved upon down there, and I had some ideas. And Dave, I think Dave got tired of me bringing it up, so he just wanted me to do it. And if I failed, I'd probably bounce, from embarrassment. But for the most part, it worked out. We did the retail, we started the restaurant program down there, and then social media kicked in.
And that was right around the time that I met you, was when that was first really getting off the ground. I remember all the uni videos. And
Yeah. All that cool stuff.
Yeah. It was all the stuff that all of us chefs were really into. Like, you really fed into.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You really fed into like the community that was the culinary community, or is the culinary community. And for me, this is where your story really gets. I mean, your story is fascinating, but this is where for me it gets really interesting, because your story is a story of a turnaround, like a complete 180 from where your life was to where you've since landed. And what I'm doing is trying to talk to people about why they created their community and where that desire to create a community, particularly a community through food, really came from. And did that start when you were up in Campo?
It actually started when I was locked up.
Okay.
The whole food thing, because we saw a difference in the food. I mean, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it just was.
Sure.
And when I was out and at Catalina Offshore, there was an opportunity there to start going to these events, start meeting chefs, FaceTiming chefs, and getting to know what they were looking for, and handing them, here, try this piece of fish. This is the local rockfish. This is a sheephead. This is lingcod, and it's local. And here's the guy that caught it, and here's the face, and his family's here. And now those same fishermen, their sons are fishing.
Cool.
So, we've been able to help. And now it's even tougher, because for restaurateurs, I mean, let's be real. You're lucky to keep a nickel for every dollar that comes in.
It is a penny's business.
And this new generation, they're not drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming in and they're ordering, you know.
Yeah, you can't rely on the bar anymore.
No, they're ordering tapas, small plates, or they might order one entree and split it on a four top and a couple of appetizers. And, you know, they're coming in at happy hour, but they're not drinking. Happy hour was where you went and
Got
you
cheap
drank
drinks.
and you got cheap food.
Yeah.
Now you're getting cheap food without the cheap drinks. And so a lot of things are changing, and especially with the seafood here in San Diego, it's changing because, you know, that little fish that we sell you, that one little whole fish, created so many jobs within your community.
Yeah.
That people don't know that. You know, this one fish can create up to 20 jobs once it's all said and done.
By the time it hits a retail shelf.
You know, we got to tie the boat up. We got to get ice. We got to go get groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we get groceries. There's local people working at the grocery store. We got to bring it back. We got to get ice. We got to get a forklift driver. They got to bring it down. We got all that stuff. We have to go to the fuel dock. We got to get fuel over there. You got the workers over there dragging the hoses out and all that stuff. Then you got to go catch it. That's another thing.
I'm glad you brought this part up because I've seen this, you know, in the 10 years that I worked as a chef and now as somebody who's running a business, literally growing food for people. I find, and I wonder if you find the same thing, that trying to educate people on the bigger story and the bigger picture of why a local fishmonger is important, or why your own little backyard garden or a community garden or supporting a CSA.
Yeah.
I feel like the story behind that and the education behind why that's important is almost non-existent. And I wonder, I have two questions for you. One, what have you done to address that so far? And I know that I've known you a long time. You've definitely created an educational platform in the fish market, but I feel like that's only one little part where we need to do this in every aspect of our food. And then what do you plan to do about it in the future to help get more education out there?
Well, and like seafood, you need to buy like seasonal fruits and vegetables. And I just had this conversation the other day. My friend brought over some tomatoes that he grew, and I sliced one up right there and I ate it, and I was like, oh man, that's a tomato.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have that in the grocery stores anymore. And I think that one of the things that we can do is talk to your neighbors that are growing fruits and vegetables and see if you can get in and chip in and help out and get some of that organically grown fresh fruit and vegetables. And
participate in your community.
Yeah, and you change with the seasons.
Sure.
You know, it's not year round. Tomatoes aren't supposed to be year round.
No.
That's why people used to can them.
And your body's not meant to eat the same thing. Your body's meant to eat seasonally. Your body is meant to transition through whatever is available that time of year in the area that your body has grown up in.
Absolutely. And so the second part of your question is, how do we continue to educate, promote, and have fun with our local food? San Diego has more small farms per capita than anywhere else in the country.
Most people don't know that.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Right? And so, you know, we have guys that are out there, you know, look at Christina Ning, you know, from the Very Good Food Foundation. I mean, she's out there all the time just pounding away with kids and young adults, and just, this is where your food comes from. And then you have Olive Garden and the Sandinistas down there that are all the Kitchenistas.
Yeah, the Kitchenistas.
Sandinistas, that's another country.
That's a different thing.
Scratch that. But the Kitchenistas down there, you know, they're doing all kinds of cool stuff. And when I was doing classes down there, you know, there were kids that they didn't know tomatoes grew on a vine.
Yeah.
Until they went into a garden. They didn't know squash came out of a flower.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think the children are the real key to that, because one thing I found in years of service industry is that it's really, really difficult to get adults to change their habits. It's really difficult to get somebody to do something that's less convenient but a better idea.
Yeah.
Especially amongst the chaos of being, you know, young parents and a first-time home buyer and trying to get your career going and all the other things that life throws at you and all the other human problems that we all have. it's really difficult to choose the harder path or the path that's slightly more expensive, knowing that the end result is always going to be better. And specifically price, right? Like price becomes a real hiccup. And in my experience, I try to buy my meat from local farmers as often as I can. And during the pandemic and shortly after, feed prices went through the roof.
Crazy.
And I went from being able to buy what I thought was a reasonably priced $15 to $20 7-pound chicken from my local farmer, understanding that that's far more expensive than what I'm getting than what I can pay at the grocery store. But I get to shake her hand. I know her. I know what she fed them. I see her fermenting the grains that the animals are eating, and the quality of the food is night and day better. But then all of a sudden, that same chicken was $70, $13 a pound. Yeah. And even I had to say, okay, hold on. Like, can I afford this? Like, is this a reasonable financial decision for me? At the end of the day, I'll always make the better decision. But even trying to explain to my own family members why this is expensive was hard to explain. And what it comes down to is that you're just feeling the direct real cost of a price increase. You don't have a giant you don't have the giant purchasing power of a Costco or a Kroger or whatever that can buy giant amounts of food and reduce that price. That you don't have farm subsidies to help support you. You're not making something to feed into an industry. You're making something to feed directly into your community. And I know we've talked in the past, but can you talk a little bit about trying to educate people on that and why things here are going to be more expensive than a grocery store and what makes it worth it?
So I had a regular customer come in. I was sitting out front, and we chatted for a minute, and he went in, and he came out, and he didn't have anything. And I look at him, I go, you couldn't find anything? And he goes, Tommy, I got to tell you. He says, I can get swordfish $5 a pound cheaper up on the hill. And I said, yeah, but I bet you those guys up on the hill don't even know the name of the truck driver that brought it. But I can tell you when that fish was harpooned, who caught it, when it was caught, how it was processed, and when I offloaded it, which was yesterday morning. And that's bloodline out, skin off, harpooned local San Diego swordfish, whereas the one on the hill is probably flown in from faraway lands, put onto a truck in LA, brought to a distributor down here, and then sold to another distributor who put it up there at the top of the hill.
And it's crazy to me that much work, energy, and effort can go into flying something here, and it still ends up cheaper. Like, the system is broken here.
Yeah, but see, at Tunaville Market, we're owned by a bunch of fishermen.
Yeah.
My buddy Mitch, he owns, Mitch's Seafood.
Shout out to Mitch's Seafood. Some of the best restaurant quality fish you're going to eat.
The funny thing about Mitch's is he's known for his seafood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best.
Some of the best fish sandwiches I've ever had were at Mitch's.
But I got to tell you, that bacon blue cheese burger he's got, oh, man. That is the best bacon blue cheese burger in all of San Diego.
You heard it here.
So we pay our fishermen more than anybody else offers them. And they know that. Some cases we pay more than double. They also know that it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a couple of weeks for them to get a check because we have to hand cut it. We have to sell it. We have to collect that money, and then we have to cut the check for the fishermen. And they're cool with that because they know that instead of getting $2.25, they're getting way more.
Well, what happens when you just continually undercut the people that are out there doing the work over and over and over again? Eventually, you're going to undercut this into oblivion.
Yeah.
You have to support the people that are out there bringing these fish in first and foremost, because without them, what do you got?
That's what's happening across our country is that our commercial fishermen and women of the American fleet, not only are we aging out and no one's coming up to take our places, but the influx of imported inferior seafood is killing our margin. And I'll give you an example. The shrimpers in the Gulf, this is Gulf shrimp. This stuff is some of the best on the planet.
As someone who lived on the panhandle of Florida once upon a time, I'm very familiar with that shrimp.
Yeah, so why are these guys getting $2.50, $2.80 a pound for that shrimp.
Is that even sustainable?
No, and that's why they're dying. The whole shrimp industry in
Hmm.
the South and along the Gulf states and stuff, they're dying because fuel's at $6, $7 or more a gallon.
Yeah.
Shrimping is, you can get farmed raised inferior product cheaper flown in here than you can the local stuff. And shrimp is the number one seafood consumed in America today. 95% of that is imported, farmed, frozen garbage.
And now, aside from the financial cost of this, there's other costs to this. There's health costs to this.
Oh yeah, by
Eating
far.
eating inferior food. I mean, I'm not the first person to say this, but I repeat it all the time that you're either going to pay for it when you buy your food, or you're going to pay for it in the doctor's office.
Yeah, and you do. And when it comes to seafood, there are groups out there that, oh, there's worms, there's parasites, there's this, there's that. Cook it thoroughly and you're fine.
Yeah.
There's worms, parasites, and everything. You've already got them in your body. I mean, it's just the way it is. And our food system here in America is broken.
100%.
We are raising the sickest generation of children right now known to mankind.
In the richest country in the world.
In one of the richest countries. Our children are so sick, and autism is what now, 8 out of 10.
I don't know,
They
but
got a
it's
touch of
way more
autism.
than it used to be.
And we're fat, we're diabetic, we're lethargic, we got heart disease. We have all these issues, and it stems from our food because our food system is broken.
And we live
in our cities. We have a food desert in San Diego, National City.
Yeah.
It's a food desert. There's no major grocery store down there.
No.
Those families have to drive to get groceries, or they find a little tiny place that'll take EBT that might have a little deli section in the back where
Yeah.
you can get a steak or a piece of chicken or something like that. And it's terrible because our children see that and they grow up thinking, oh, this is where the grocery store is.
Mhm.
And yet again, we'll go to the big box stores. We'll take, Walmart, Superstore. You walk in there and you look at that stuff and you're like, it literally, looking at that is unappetizing.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you go, there's processed foods.
And
The fat guy.
even when it comes to produce, though, our produce it's uniform in a disturbing way.
Very much so.
And which of course makes it a very wasteful system, because if it doesn't look perfect, then it can't be sold. We've been marketed in the United States to believe that our food has to look perfect, when it doesn't. And one of my favorite examples of this is oranges. So we live in California. We have the Central Valley. We produce somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70% of the food distributed around the country in California, including oranges. We produce more oranges than any other place in the country. We import oranges from China, and we export the oranges that we grow in California to Australia because they're grown in such hot sun. They get brown spots on them, which is just spots. There's nothing wrong with it. But because it's not that perfectly smooth navel orange, we won't buy it.
And let's not, let's not even talk about the genetically modified foods that we're eating.
Yeah.
But you do, Orange County got its name because that's
Just-
all it was.
Yeah,
Was orange groves. Going to Disneyland from San Diego, you drove through orange groves,
sure.
the whole place. And here in San Diego, being areas with a food desert, you walk into the big box stores like a Sam's or a Walmart, and on every end cap is processed foods, and they surround the corners with processed foods, and we want it now, or we want it fast. And this is an instant gratification generation that's going on right now. When was the last time we actually had family dinners, Sunday family dinners? We would have them at my house all the time. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, even for someone like me, I have a family of 3. I have a teenage daughter, and she's busy with swim, and I'm busy trying to run a business, and my wife is busy doing, her work. And I like to have Sunday dinners, and there are times where it's just too hard or feels too hard to do, and I feel guilty about that because I know how important it is.
And you touched base on bruised fruit and
Mm-hmm.
Misshaped
Yeah.
something. Bro, seriously, try it with fish.
I bet.
I mean, that fillet's got to be perfect. It's got to be trimmed up perfect. So
Yeah.
we have odds and ends in there. The other day, I bought a 560-pound harpoon swordfish, and I know that I'm going to lose 30 pounds of meat on that thing because the harpoon dart goes in at one angle, and you're pulling on it at another angle, and that rope that's buried in there is just
Shredding.
slicing through that. So, you got some of it. And so you get this chunk of swordfish, a 20, 25-pound chunk of swordfish, and it's damaged. And you look and see what customers out there, and you walk around the corner and you go, hey, I got some stuff in the back I can't put in a case. Do you want to come look at it? And I'm talking to one guy, and everybody's like, yes, we do. And they all come in the back.
Yeah.
And so I'll spend, 20 minutes breaking down this big chunk of fish and giving away all this swordfish. Go, here, man. Here, just take it. Just take it.
Just because you can't sell it.
And they're like, well, what do we do with it? I said, treat it like you would a chicken. Whatever you do with chicken, do it. Put it in a pan, bake it in the oven, do something with it. Put it in red sauce, cover it in pasta. There's all kinds of things.
And to people like you and I think I take this for granted sometimes, and I don't know if you have the same experience, but I look from 10 years of working in kitchens, I'll look at almost anything and be able to figure out what to do with it.
Pretty much, bro.
Not everybody has that skill set. In fact, most people don't have that skill set. I find the same problem with a CSA box. I've asked a lot of people why not participate more in a CSA box. I get a CSA box from Yasakochi Family Farms for $30. It's a 30-pound box of produce. That's a deal. You're not getting 30 pounds of food at a grocery store for $30.
Yeah.
And whenever I ask people about it, people, number one, are always surprised that it could be that cheap. And number two, they're like, but I don't know what I'm getting. And that completely turns people off because they're afraid of buying an ingredient that they don't know what to do with or don't have the skill set to use. And I totally understand that fear. Also, we have AI at this point. Just plug in the ingredients and say go.
Yeah.
But it requires a level, it inspires a level of fear in people that doesn't entirely make sense to me. But it seems to be pretty pervasive amongst most of the people I talk to that don't participate in CSAs, is that they're just really worried that I'm going to get something and I'm not going to know what to do with it.
Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure.
Maybe, fear of failure.
We all have that. And so
it's easier just to stick in your comfort zone and stick in your lane and keep going to the same grocery store and buying the same things and cooking the same things week after week, assuming you're cooking.
But see, we can sit here and we can preach all of that.
Sure.
Stuff, right? But if you go to Costco to get a widget, the odds of you getting that $1.50 hot dog are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it's $1.50 and it's a hot dog, and you don't want to know. But you're going to get it. And so educate, promote, and have fun while you're doing it. And there are people out there that love that. I've been saying it for years, hashtag trust your fishmonger.
Sure.
And
educate your children.
Yeah, and we did the best growth out of seafood locally was, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, 10, 15 years ago. We did an OPA video, and that video...
I remember this video.
That video, at that time, the fishermen were getting 65 cents a pound. And when that video went viral, I mean, it was at the right time, at the right moment. There's never going to be another one like it.
It still pops up in my feed once in a while.
There's still a lot of people that copy that video, but what's it at? Like 190-something million views.
I don't know, it's a lot.
10 million shares or some ridiculous amount. But the point is that once we got done with that video, the fishermen were getting $3.50 a pound instead of 65 cents. So that's what we need to do. And
well, I think you did a really good job with that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to touch base on the Opa and the Manchong because that was when I was coming up as a cook.
Yeah.
That was when I was, and these are fish I'd never heard of, never seen, and when I think back, that is definitely a way that you leveled up the culinary community getting people to use what is essentially bycatch.
The whole fish and a bycatch. But the thing is like, it's like, why are you eating Brazino? Why? We have beautiful rockfish here.
You lost your mic there, but
oh, I lost my mic.
So explain to people that comment. Like, what do you mean by when you say, why are you eating Branzino? Like, why are you asking that?
Why though? Why even? I mean, farm raised. It's coming from faraway lands. You know, I mean,
so it's not local fish. It's not living in its natural environment.
But there is a great farm in Arizona. Okay, we'll give them that. Okay, there's a cool farm out there. They're doing it right. There is cool farmed fish in the United States and some places around the world. But there's a lot that's not, and there's a reason why it's cheap. And
we live by the ocean.
Why not
eating this fish?
There's 50 plus different rockfish species out there, and they're all different, and they're all delicious. But because restaurants want that 0.7 pound fish for that center of the plate, and they know exactly what they're going to get because it's coming out of the machine. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Well, it's the same as the produce in the grocery store, right?
Yeah, same thing. And so if you get a 2 pound fish with rice and a salad at a restaurant, you can eat that for dinner for two.
Mm-hmm.
Family style, this stuff, you know. That's the way to go with seafood is you do family style. I mean, sit down restaurants, you know, 2 top, 4 top type stuff.
Well, this is kind of where I'll say this a lot too, and it's not necessarily completely true, but it feels like money ruins everything because these decisions that are being made about these fish are always financial decisions.
Always financial, but I get it because it's tough.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you right off the bat that Mitch's Seafood buys more local seafood than any restaurant in San Diego. Guaranteed.
100%, yeah.
Guaranteed. They're cranking over there. And most of that stuff comes out of here. So I know what's going on and how much is being portioned and how much is going out, and it's a powerhouse. And if we could just, but then again, we have other places that buy strictly frozen, inferior, imported seafood, and it's terrible.
Well,
Hi, Kiki.
I didn't know if you guys were filming otherwise.
We are.
Okay. I'm just trying to chill with it.
I appreciate you sitting down and talking with us about this, but I have one final question for you.
No, we ain't even started yet.
Oh, well,
what are you talking
then
about?
I'll save my final question.
But the fact is that, look, San Diego was once the greatest tuna fleet in the world until 1985. 90% of the world ate our tuna. 90% of the world ate fish that was harvested by San Diego fishermen. The Japanese, the Koreans, the Portuguese, and the Italians. Now, we can't even get San Diegans to eat our own fishermen's catch. And we have Dockside Market, the Pacific to Plate initiative. That was, you know, Pete Helme was a driving force behind that, him and David Hayworth. And so they have Dockside Market on Saturdays where the fishermen can go and sell their catch, which is absolutely gorgeous.
And everybody should go see that because it's an amazing place and an amazing scene.
And it caught on, and it's up and down the West Coast now.
Oh, really?
Right? And so we have guys that can fish or can sell their fish there, right? But when they come in, they got 1,000, 2,000 pounds of assorted rockfish. You're not going to sell that in one day. So they make the decision, hey, let's just go see Tommy. Let's unload everything there. We'll keep a little bit for the market, but we'll dump everything here, right? And getting people here on the peninsula, I just want everybody on that side of the hill and on the peninsula to buy 1 pound a week from Tunaville Market and Grocery, and you'll save a local industry. Think about that. If you bought 1 pound of local seafood from Tunaville Market and Grocery, you will save a local industry here in San Diego, whose kids probably play baseball, Little League with your grandkids. Who, you know, and think of the children. Think of the kids.
Well, do you think we're going in the right direction?
The more we go in the right direction, the more the environmentalists fight back. Because we're sitting on choice property, right?
Yeah.
They don't make waterfront property anymore.
No.
And they want it.
Oh.
They want the condos. They want the snack shop. They want, all that stuff. So what do? They wanted it down here, and it's not going to work. We're going to revitalize these docks and give the commercial fishermen a working area and create more for the blue economy in the port of San Diego. Hopefully, it's within the next several years we can get started on that. But the fact is that our food's broken. We're not growing enough gardens. We're not teaching our kids to, come on, man. I'm 65 years old, bro. I ate dirt. I ate dirt when I was a kid.
I did too.
We ate dirt. And now it's tough to even get, fresh fruit and vegetables. And when our customers do bring them in, oh, it's so nice. What'd you have for dinner? I had a squash. Oh, what else did you have? Nothing, man. I had a squash. I had a squash with butter.
And if it's fresh and it's locally grown, it's good.
I had a squash. What do you mean you had a squash? Yeah, I ate a squash. What'd you have for lunch? I had a tomato sandwich. A what?
Yes, nobody eats that anymore.
A tomato sandwich on white bread. Like
a little mayo, some pepper.
Hello, man. It's that kind of thing, right? And so, like on Saturdays, most Saturdays, I'll set up my little cooking station and I'll cook samples. And
man, you've been doing that forever.
Yeah, and people, oh my God, this is the best piece of fish ever. And in the back of my head, it's like, it's just a piece of fish that I cooked,
Yeah.
But to these folks, it's like, oh my God, how do you do this? It's just a piece of fish. You're an adult. Play with your food.
Yeah, for sure.
You won't get in trouble.
No.
You're not going to get your hands slapped. Play with your food. Grab your partner. Cook a dinner together. Clean up with each other. Do the dishes. Dry them. Put them away. Sit down. Talk about the meal. Bring in a guest. And here's the thing, is that, that old person that lives by themselves across the street from you? We all got them. Invite them over. Have a meal. Listen to their stories. Where'd they come from? What'd they do in their career? Things like that. See, we're so busy with Instagram and Googling and ChatGPT and all that stuff that we're not looking outside the blinders at people who actually done things and built this nation. Talk to those guys, like in East County, when there used to be farmland out there, even down in South San Diego and north of San Ysidro and Del Sol and Candlelight Homes area and stuff. That was all pigs and cucumbers and all kinds of stuff. This was all farmland. What do you think it was? And now, it's all homes and everything. And we need to get people to understand that. Just talk to people again about food.
Just talk to people. I think
talk to people.
I think what's the old adage? You're missing the forest through the trees. Like, we're so busy that we forget that we live in a community, and we stop treating our community like a community.
Well,
and this is where I wanted to talk to you, and why I wanted to talk to you, because I've watched you over the last 20 years literally build up a community.
Thank you.
Purely out of the goodness of your heart, and just because you know that it's the right thing to do.
No, it's all about single moms.
Wherever you find your motivation.
I'm kidding. And there's all kinds of great organizations out there. Youth Assistance Coalition. They're helping kids that, they're teaching kids how to cook. Chef Angels with Chef Lena, they're teaching kids how to cook. Christina Ning and the Very Good Food Foundation, they're teaching kids how to cook and going to gardens and farms and to Tunaville Market and other fish markets around the city and teaching kids about where their food comes from. There are literally hundreds of organizations, all these little literally grassroots organizations, right? There's no big one hub,
No.
right? And when you talk about what was it you were saying about groups and bringing people together? It's unfortunate that, oh, well, I'm just going to go check out my squash blossom group on Facebook.
Yeah, it's not an in-person. It's not personal anymore.
Yeah.
I've heard this. I forget where I heard it, but somebody smarter than me said that you have to think about information on social media the same way you think about processed food. It's just processed information.
Wow.
And it's equally as bad for you as processed, bagged, boxed, packaged food is. It's just bad for your brain.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Alzheimer's and dementia, you know. It's all of that stuff. And
well, I think our hope is in our children. I think, you mentioned that there were all these groups that are grassroots organizations that are trying to teach children how to cook, but I don't want to ignore the responsibility of inside your own home, of taking the responsibility as a parent to teach your kids about your food, to teach your kids about your local markets, to teach your kids about your local community, to get your kids out into your community, to get your kids out there to realize that there is a bigger world outside of their house and that not everything is easy. And the example I use about this is before COVID, I was doing an after-school program, garden program at a local elementary school. And I started every 10-week course with the same question, which is, where does our food come from? In the three 10-week classes that I did, only one child said the ground. Every other kid said the store, or mom gets it, or but there was just no connection to where their food is.
Yeah.
And by the end of the 10-week program, I had kids that would refuse to eat anything green.
Yeah.
But by the time they had taken the seeds home, started and nurtured the seeds, they brought them back, calling them their babies, and then we put them in the ground, and they experienced the joy of growth and the failure of the heartbreak of animals getting to it or bugs ruining their plants, and then realizing, oh, we can just plant another one. And then going through the harvest and checking on them every day, waiting for them to grow. And then I did the one thing that I think is oftentimes missing at the end of this equation, which is I had these kids harvest this and take it home.
Yeah.
And followed that up with an email to their parents saying, okay, now the job is up to you. Now it's up to you to finish this conversation and bring this all the way around full circle from seed all the way to your child's plate. And the best thing happened that I never expected it to happen, but I got an overwhelming number of emails from parents that were saying, I don't know what you did or how you did it, but my kid is eating a salad.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and my response was two things. One, I'm not you, so they're not going to fight with me like they fight with you. You're the parents. They're going to fight with you. But number two, I gave them ownership.
Yeah.
I gave them ownership of what they were eating, and that overrode any fear they had about what this food is or what it might taste like. They just wanted to eat it because it was theirs.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do that with our children, and we can continue that, that's where our hope lies in fixing all of this.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
And having mentors like you in the community that are leading the charge and leading the example, those roles need to be filled too. The people like us that are having the conversation, we need to keep having this conversation, and we need to get the conversation to our children.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about the whole seafood thing. There are pier fishermen and women that are substance fishing. They go to the piers to catch a fish to eat.
Sure.
There's a Japanese man and his family, all the way down to probably great-grandkids, that go to a pier locally here. And they have a 5-gallon bucket filled with bread and water that they smash up. And one of the little girls, goes and she gets this big soup ladle, and she dips it in this bucket, and she throws it in the water. And all these little bait fish come up and eat it. And the grandpa throws the net out. He has a triple-chambered net that's made out of like nylon stocking. Mm-hmm. So the water, it flows through it very slowly. Mm-hmm. And he drags it and he gets them. Sometimes he'll get 200-300 anchovies and sardines mixed in. Sometimes he only gets a handful. But he's doing that constantly. He takes it, he dumps it into a 5-gallon bucket. That 5-gallon bucket gets pushed down to another person who's sitting on a upside down bucket,
and they got a tray in front of them, and they're cleaning them. And that one goes to the next person, and they clean them a little more. And that one goes all the way down to the grandmother, who either salts them or puts them in bags and puts them in a cooler. And they'll be down there forever. And I was asking him one day, I go, so what's the process? What is it that you do? And the little girl came up and explained it to me and said, well, some we turn into fish sauce, some we salt, and some we just eat fresh. And I go, well, you guys are down here every time I come down here, and I'm down here once a week. She goes, yeah, we come down here once a week, and we do this, and we feed our community, the community of Asian descent that, or wherever, whatever neighborhood, or their families and stuff. So they're doing the same thing as growing vegetables and fruit in your backyard, but they're just harvesting seafood.
Yeah.
You know, substance fishing and substance living. And it's amazing to me that, again, here in this city, we have all these food deserts, you know, but people don't think twice about going to a drive-through and getting fast food, processed food, because it's quick, it's simple, it's easy.
And oftentimes cheaper.
Way cheaper. Way cheaper. And it's difficult to fathom that, you know, how can this, you know, seafood wise, let's take back before the pandemic, let's take the 99-cent fish taco. When was the last time you saw a 99-cent fish taco?
I couldn't even begin to remember.
You might find one now at $1.49.
Sure.
Is the cheapest.
$1.99, yeah.
Right? Farmed raised tilapia, frozen, inferior, blah, 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 covered in sauce. But then you go to a place like Fish Guts down in Barrio Logan, Pablo Becker, and you get two smaller tortillas, handmade fish tacos that he picks up fresh. Every day he's open, he picks up fresh, and he makes his fish tacos, and when he runs out, he runs out. And it's two small fish tacos for about $12.95 or $15. I don't remember what the price is.
Yeah.
But it's just better.
It's infinitely better. That place is amazing.
And when you eat things like that, you don't feel all bloated and lethargic and tired. You feel like you actually got some nutritional value out of it.
Yep.
But people pay for nutrition or lack of nutrition with their pocketbook.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm guilty of it.
We all are.
You know, I went and had a burger and fries, but I didn't go to one of the fast food joints. I went to a locally owned fast food joint.
At least you're still supporting your community, Tommy.
But, again, how do we get more kids involved in the Green Thumb? There was a guy back in the day, Joe Carcione, the green grocer. He was on News 8, KFMB, Channel 8, back when there was only 3 channels in San Diego. And Joe Carcione, the green grocer, once a week he'd get in there. I said, today's, you know, we got melons are in season. And he'd clap his hands. Melons in season, and you get the melon, and thump-a-thump, you push it here and everything. And these melons are great. And he'd whip out his knife and he'd carve one out. They're juicy and delicious. And then it was tomato season. And then I wanted to be that guy with seafood. I wanted to be that guy with seafood.
I think you achieved that.
We've got spot prawns. We got lobster. And that's another thing. Okay, lobster season. Lobster season is a grind.
Yeah.
The lobster fishermen, every day, it's a grind. By mid-season, half of those guys are dropping out. We have a couple of the guys that are our partners here that work all year to the very last day. Yet most of our lobster used to go to China. So the price was high. Now China's not buying. So their prices, we don't even know what the price is going to be this year. But I know that I'm going to open and pay the fishermen $21 a pound. I also know that I'm going to sell for $23, $24 a pound. I'm not going to make any money.
That's a pretty tight margin.
We're not going to make any money because you have dead loss, and then you got to eat them, which is not a bad thing, you know. And you know, the crew's going to take some home, and you know, the weak lobsters aren't going to make it, and so we'll cook them and make a salad. So you got labor in there and all that, and we don't have any margin with lobsters. We don't make money with lobsters, but our local fishermen who are investors here, they make money.
So you're investing in your community.
We're investing in the community. And another thing is like we have local restaurants like Randy at Solare.
Mhm.
The guy buys lobsters every day. I need another 25. I need another 25 every single day. I need 25. I need 25. And he doesn't care what the price is because he's serving a local lobster. And the community and the customers that he gets, they know that, oh, you get local lobsters. So it's not from some faraway land.